How's it going, everyone? This is the George here, and today we are going to be reviewing the official last movie to review in the View Universe series of reviews. After completing this series of reviews a few months ago, Kevin Smith's most controversial and hard to find movie, Dogma. This is the 1999 film that Smith directed, the fourth in the View universe, starring Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Linda Fiorentino, Jason Mewes, Chris Rock, Salma Hayek, Alan Rickman. And in this film, two fallen angels named Bartleby and Loki, played by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, find a loophole to get back into heaven, but by doing so would wipe out all of existence. So the Metatron, played by Alan Rickman, appoints Bethany, who works at an abortion clinic, who still goes to church but is losing her faith and wants to try to regain that faith in a way that she once had as younger. Her life's been on a downward spiral due to certain things. He appoints her and two prophets in the form of Jay and Silent Bob, once again played by Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith, to go stop this from happening. So this is, as I say, Kevin Smith's most controversial film. This was a film that was protested by many religious groups, including the Catholic League. It was called blasphemous at one point. Kevin Smith faced a couple of death threats. Miramax dropped the movie, and Lionsgate was the one that distributed the film. Also, this is a movie that's really hard to find because of something involving, well, the Weinstein Company and the rights. I don't want to get too much into that, but apparently, like because of like Harvey Weinstein, it the movie is not on any streaming services. You can't purchase it digitally. If you want to find a physical copy of the film, a lot of them are expensive. I was able to find this one for $20 on Amazon. And Kevin Smith kind of said it best. His movie about angels is owned by the devil himself. But yet, despite the controversies with Harvey Weinstein and the, controversy with certain religious groups, was for a time Lionsgate's most successful film. If you saw Clerks 3 in theaters, Kevin Smith said it best like after the movie. This was the most successful film for Lionsgate until The Hunger Games came out in 2012. So for over a decade, this was Lionsgate's most successful film. This is also Kevin Smith's most successful film in the Viewers universe. So, what do I think about this movie? So, I've seen this movie only twice in my life. The first time was on YouTube. That was the way, and it was in not so good quality. I remember enjoying it, but it was kind of hard to get into the movie because the poor quality was very noticeable. And that's kind of how YouTubers try to post movies on YouTube, by posting it in poor quality or in a certain size. So it is distracting. So upon rewatching it, I definitely would say I had a way better time revisiting Dogma. And as someone who is a Catholic themselves, I wasn't really offended by this movie. I had a great time with this movie. To me, this is satire and parody that still isn't disrespectful in my opinion. I find a lot of the scenes to be ironic. I found, certain things to kind of be relatable. For example, the character Bethany, Linda Fiorentino does a great job with this character. She's a Catholic that's losing her faith. She's still going to church, but it's not the same as it was for her when she was younger. And that's something a lot of people can relate to, losing their faith, trying to regain the faith. She also works at an abortion clinic, so it's also pretty interesting that someone who works at an abortion clinic, especially with the Catholic Church's stance on abortion, it's also like a movie that I think people that are pro-choice can relate to, that are also Catholic. But obviously, like this is a movie that has also other big stars in this film. For example, as I said before, Alan Rickman as the Metatron, the voice of God. This was 2 years before Alan Rickman became well known for playing Professor Snape in the Harry Potter movies. And Alan Rickman, this is probably one of my favorite performances from him. This is most, definitely one of his funniest roles. The way he just delivers his lines, the sarcasm, like the facial expressions that he makes. Alan Rickman really shines in this movie. I also like Jason Mewes a lot as Jay in this movie. This is probably one of my more favorite performances from him in this movie. He definitely does a lot of talking, and I know, like, according to certain sites, like apparently Kevin Smith told Jason Mewes to like step it up in this film, and he definitely stepped it up. You also have Chris Rock as Rufus, the 13th Apostle, very hilarious. Yeah, Salma Hayek as Serendipity, also very hilarious. To me, though, the two scene stealers for me were definitely Ben Affleck and Matt Damon as Bartleby and Loki. To me, this was definitely one of my favorite performances from Ben Affleck, and like the way he also delivers his lines, like his motivations, definitely works. Matt Damon as Loki also really good, and it's kind of ironic because almost 20 years after this movie comes out, he plays the actor playing Loki in a play in Thor Ragnarok. But yeah, kind of similar to like Alan Rickman. A few years later, Matt Damon would become well known for being in another franchise, the Bourne franchise. And this movie also came out 2 years after Good Will Hunting, which Matt Damon was phenomenal in, and Ben Affleck was also in that movie. So this movie came out at a very interesting time. It came out like right before certain actors became even more well known for other franchises. The action, the fantasy aspect, I thought was really good in this movie. They can definitely tell like Kevin Smith like had a much higher budget in this film. Definitely was able to do a lot more. Dogma was a movie that took a while to come out. In fact, if you watch like the first Clerks right to the end of the credits, it says Jay and Silent Bob will return in Dogma. So Dogma was planned for a long time. You also have George Carlin playing Cardinal Glick, and that is very interesting because George Carlin is an atheist in real life. So that's also pretty ironic. I would definitely say the one performance, while I didn't think was bad, kind of felt a bit wasted, was Jason Lee as Azrael. And while I like Jason Lee a lot in these Kevin Smith movies, I definitely felt like this is probably my least favorite role of his in a Kevin Smith movie. It felt like Azrael, like his purpose like in the film was really just to like push these two fallen angels to go to this church in Jersey to get back into heaven and to cause like a little bit of chaos on the side, but I felt like at times it kind of took away from those angels. And when he was dead, it was like it felt and when he eventually, spoiler if you haven't seen Dogma, does die, or is defeated, it felt like the movie was finally able to pick up. There's like a certain scene in a bar where he confronts the group, and it felt like the movie kind of paused for a bit. And that's really kind of my only, I don't say negative, but the one thing I'm kind of torn on is kind of like the Ezreal side of the movie. Because it feels like the movie slowed down for me when we got to Ezreal. I felt like it was really picking up when we're focusing on our religious fellowship or when we're focusing on the angels. And this movie is definitely hilarious though. I definitely enjoyed the performances a lot in this film, from Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, from Alan Rickman. Man, I found like the humor to be probably some of the funniest in the View Askew universe. And it's kind of a shame that we never got to revisit this side of the View Askew universe. I mean, I love revisiting the Clerks movies. I think that's where Kevin Smith's at his best. But the Dogma side of the View Askew universe, I would love to revisit. And yeah, I highly recommend you guys check this movie out. I don't know if this movie is still, you can still buy this movie for $20 on Amazon, but if you're able to find this movie for like a reasonable price, I highly recommend you go check it out because this is a hilarious movie. I enjoy the fantasy aspect. I enjoy some of the commentary on religion in this movie as well. And overall, I'm going to give Dogma an A. This is definitely one of my favorite Kevin Smith movies. And where is the rank? Well, I plan on doing a stream ranking all the Kevin Smith movies from my least favorite to favorite. So I don't know when I'm going to do that stream. But yeah, you can find out where it ranks when I do that stream. But yeah, go check out Dogma if you haven't already. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe already if you haven't. Please share us with someone that loves Kevin Smith movies that wants to see Dogma. Or if you love Dogma and you want to hear someone talk about it, please check out this video. And I hope to see you guys real soon. Take care, everyone.